This November 3rd, 2025 meeting, of the Worcester Conservation Commission is now called to order. My name is Diane Fertoni, and I will be chairing this meeting. As part of this meeting, we will be holding hearings under the Massachusetts Wetlands Protection Act and Regulations and the City of Worcester Wetlands Protection Ordinance and Regulations. The commissioners are volunteers who serve to enforce these laws and regulations to protect specific values identified as being important to Massachusetts and the City of Worcester. Commission decisions are based on these laws and regulations and are not arbitrary or based on personal likes or dislikes. It is important to the Commission that these hearings are held in a fair and equitable way for all parties involved. This requires that discussion take place in a civil manner and that every individual in this meeting is treated respectfully. To facilitate this, the hearings take place in the order they are listed on the agenda, which is available by the door and online. First, the applicant will present an overview of the project to the Commission. Next, staff will provide comments on the proposed work. Then the Commission will direct any questions it has to the applicant or staff. After the Commission is done questioning the applicant, the floor will be open to the public. Comments and questions must be directed to the chairperson, not to the applicant or their representative, and they must pertain to the regulations that the Conservation Commission oversees. For example, although you might have concerns over the traffic resulting from a particular project, the Conservation Commission does not regulate traffic, so traffic concerns will not be discussed during the meeting. Please note that while new points will be given ample time to present, repetitive comments will be cut short in the interest of having all parties be given an opportunity to speak. We ask that all applicants and members of the public please state their name and city or town of residence for the record. To manage remote participation during our hybrid meetings and prevent disruptions, all participants are automatically blocked from unmuting themselves, turning on their video, or sending chat messages. For remote participants who would like to comment on an item on our agenda, we ask that you use the raise hand feature in Zoom during the discussion on that item. If you are joined by phone, you can raise your hand by pressing *9. Staff will then call on members of the public one at a time and give them permission to unmute themselves. If you are joined by phone, you will then be able to unmute yourself by pressing *6. Please introduce yourselves.
Eric Flint, Division of Planning and Regulatory Services.
Devin Canton, Commissioner.
Lindsay Nystrom, Commissioner.
Stuart Kirshner, Commissioner.
Thank you. First, are there any postponements, continuances, or withdrawals?
Yes, we have 4 postponement requests. These are all requests to postpone the public hearing to November 24th and extend the constructive grant deadline to December 16th. We have item number 2, 31 Randolph Road. Item number 3, 30 Quinsigamon Avenue. Item number 6, 483 Sunderland Road. And item number 10, 939 Southbridge Street.
Make a motion to continue the items discussed.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirshner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni? Aye. First item tonight, new business, request for determination of applicability, 32 Mina Drive.
We're gonna put in a couple of footings.
Can you just, your name and where you live?
Okay, my name is Eugene Supanoff.
Pull the
Okay,
microphone to you.
Eugene Supanoff, 63 Hamilton Street, Worcester, Mass.
Thank you.
And I'm looking to put in a couple of footings, but it's about maybe 50, 60 feet from the cemetery there, behind their yard. And it's just 2 holes for footings. There's already existing footings there, so I'm gonna rip them out. So there ain't really gonna be much disturbance. You know, and any disturbance I'll put on a tap, you know, it's, you know, probably dirt, you know, this deep, you know, fat as my leg, you know, and then we'll all do it in one day.
Okay. Staff, any comments on the project?
Not too much. It's in the buffer zone. It's within the floodplain. It's a pretty flat yard, so I'm not really concerned about erosion. So nothing further from staff.
Okay. Questions from commissioners? Comments?
Yeah, through the chair, could you just, what's the plan to dispose of the existing footing?
The existing footings,
Footing,
oh,
yeah.
dumpster.
Dumpster?
Yeah,
Okay.
dumpster with all, because we're rebuilding the deck.
Yeah,
You know,
okay.
it's just wood, you know what I mean? And then we're gonna put up that AZAC stuff.
Yep.
You know, so.
Great.
Very simple and out, small deck, you know, nothing,
Yep.
nothing big.
Any other questions from commissioners? Is there anyone here from the public who has a question or comment about the project? Anyone online?
Make a motion for a negative determination?
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. You're all set.
All right, thank you.
Thank
All right,
you.
Have a
Good
wonderful
night.
evening.
You too.
Next item, old business, 342 Lake Avenue, notice of intent.
Hello, good evening, Commission members. Rich Kirby from LEC Environmental Consultants. If you recall, I was here last time for the construction of a two-family dwelling in the buffer zone to BVW and bank associated with an intermittent stream. At the last hearing, we presented our plan, knowing we had a few minor modifications that have since been provided to the Commission. Namely, we showed the walkways as they will extend from the driveway. We added the trees along Lake Avenue, and I believe that was it. But the revised plan is up there on the screen, and I believe the Commission has copies, and happy to answer any questions that the Commission may have.
Thank you. Any additional comments or questions from staff?
Nothing further from staff. The revised plans address all our comments.
Commissioners? Anyone here from the public on the project? Anyone online? No? Okay. Is there a motion?
Motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
Okay. Commissioner Canton?
Abstained?
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Thank you. Commissioner Canton can't vote on this one, sorry.
Fair enough. Thanks very much, everyone. Have a good night.
No, you want the order of conditions? We need to vote on that.
Oh,
too.
sure. Please do.
Thank you.
So in addition to the standard conditions, we have 24 for wetland flagging. I guess a question to the commission, typically, commission wants to see permanent markers installed associated with buffer zone construction like this. Is that something that they'd want to see here?
I guess how close is just trying to see exactly how much space there really is between any of that land that's
Yeah, so
not vegetated.
You can see on the screen here, we have some pictures. This is the top left is kind of looking from Lake Ave towards the property. This bottom one is looking up the stream channel that's kind of just in the woods here, and then this is looking towards the street. The 15-foot buffer probably extends into that existing lawn space. Typically we do the 15, alternatively could do along the existing vegetation line if we don't want to take away additional lawn area, but up to the commission.
Yeah, now I'd like to see it at 15 because it's so tight that there's going to be, I think, a tendency to want to push the lawn out further. And if there's nothing there indicating the limits, then I don't think anyone would observe them.
Okay. So then we'd have condition 25 for revised plans, just showing markers spaced every 25 feet along the 15-foot buffer. Condition 44 for permanent markers along the 15, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 51 for equipment and material placement, 56 for spill prevention, as-built site plan as part of a COC request, 65 for fertilizer, 66 for sand and salt, 68 for wetland permitting with ongoing conditions, 44, 65, 66, and 68.
Is there a motion on the order of conditions?
Motion to issue the order of conditions?
Second.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Now you're all set.
All right. Thanks very much. Have a good night.
Thank you. Next item, new business, notice of intent, 24 Lakeside Ave, Garland Street right-of-way, Lakeside Ave, new right-of-way.
Good afternoon, or good evening. Matthew Ashley with Bowler, here on behalf of Tremont Development Partners and E3 Development LLC. So we're here for you tonight for the Phase 3 of the 4-phased redevelopment of the Lakeside Avenue Affordable, or Worcester Housing Authority complex over there. So probably familiar with the first 2 phases. We've been in front of you a couple times now, so this is just the 3rd phase, which is just not as far down Lakeside Avenue. So this particular phase is to raise and rebuild 2 of the buildings out there and replace it with a single building complex with 104 units. Jurisdictionally, our proximity to a catch basin right on Lakeside Avenue is for our local filing, and then Coe's Pond is right across Lakeside Avenue, and the 100-foot buffer just comes onto like the sidewalk area that we're replacing as part of the development, along with some utility connections within Lakeside Avenue. But other than that, the rest of the site is outside of that 100-foot state jurisdictional buffer. So on site today, there really isn't much in terms of stormwater treatment. You know, just some catch basins out there that get piped into the larger stormwater system within the city of Worcester. Under the new conditions will be fully state and local compliant deep sump hooded catch basins, water quality units, and a infiltration system for the first 1 inch of rainfall across the development. Other than that, we're reducing impervious surfaces out there, and really a big improvement to the area in terms of stormwater treatment and quality. Eric and his team provided some initial comments to us prior to the last hearing, responded to all those comments, didn't really have any objections. The state also wanted us to go out and do some test pits out there to see. Initially, we didn't have any infiltration out there. The soils over on phase 1 was all just fill and nothing great. That's what we thought we were going to find out there. Turns out we actually had some good soil, so we went in and put an infiltration system out there as well. Providing recharge, which is a benefit for everyone. So other than that, really not too much more, but happy to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, thank you. Staff, any additional comments?
I don't have too much to add on this one. As Matt mentioned, we sent over comments from our team. DPW also issued a comment letter. We received responses from the applicant going through and addressing each of those. We got a revised plan set. Definitely happy to see the inclusion of the infiltration unit on the most recent set of plans. So at this point, I think we're all set.
Thank you. Commissioners, questions or comments about the project? Anyone here from the public on this project? Online? It's gonna be a quick night. Is there a motion?
Motion to close?
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. Proposed order of conditions?
All right, so in addition to the standard conditions, we have 24 for wetland flagging, 31 for SWIP, 33 for stormwater management system maintenance, 38 for infiltration unit inspection, 39 for certification of stormwater infrastructure, 48 for dust control, 49 for dewatering, 50 cement truck washing, 51 equipment placement, 55 for construction monitoring reports, so just the SWIP reporting, 56 for spill prevention, as-built plan for a COC request, 66 for sand and salt, 68 for wetland permitting with ongoing conditions, 37, 66, and 68.
Questions? Anything to add?
I'm here. Make a motion to issue the orders of conditions as described?
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, item number 7, 284 Grove Street. There is no DEP number on this one, so we won't be voting tonight.
Hi, good evening. Nick Dewhurst with Bowler. civil engineer on the project. Just to sort of preface, I understand, and it sounds like you do as well, we do not have a DEP file number on this one yet. We were hoping to have it prior to the last meeting, did not expected it to come before this meeting, and DEP, I understand, is a bit slower in recent years, so hopefully we have that in hand by the next meeting. So the site is 284 Grove Street. It's a 0.8 acre parcel. It's currently comprised of a gravel lot. There was an existing building there that was demolished within the last year or two. The site is bounded by Middlesex Savings Bank to the north, Grove Street to the west, Brookfield Street to the south, and National Grid owns that small piece of land to the north. The bank and the medical office building out back, it's actually all common ownership. So my client owns the bank parcel, the medical office building, and then they also own the property on the opposite side of Brookfield Street as well. If you can flip to the site plan. So this is the site plan that the project's proposing to build a 10,591 square foot multi-tenant retail building. It's broken up into 3 separate tenants, a bank, and then 2 retail spaces that aren't occupied at this point. We're also proposing new parking, sidewalks, landscaping, lighting, utilities, and stormwater improvements. This plan, so the reason we're here is we're proposing a stormwater connection from our proposed stormwater system to one of the Millbrook box culverts that runs underneath the site. That's kind of, I've highlighted those in red on this plan and the plans that we'll see on following slides as well. So this is our grading plan. It actually might be helpful, Eric, if you just go to the next one. So this is our stormwater plan. As I mentioned, we are proposing a new connection, so a core into that existing culvert. It's going to be a 12-inch DR18 PVC pipe. Prior to discharge of the stormwater into that culvert, we are providing a series of catch basins that will provide treatment via the deep sumps within the catch basins, and then just prior to discharge, it's actually going through a proprietary water quality unit to provide additional water quality control, and then it will discharge into that culvert. The roof runoff, as you can see there, is also discharging into that culvert. We're really familiar with this culvert, just given that we did the bank development next door as well as that medical office building. So we're familiar with the structural integrity and sort of how to work around it. We've also, in other places in the city, we've made similar tie-ins to the culvert, and we actually, on the last slide, you saw that construction detail. That's a detail that we've kind of crafted for similar projects in the city in the past. So as I mentioned, we are, with the deep sump-hooded catch basins and the proprietary unit, we're providing 95% TSS removal prior to discharge into that culvert. And then as far as protection of the culvert, we actually submitted, our site contractor submitted a culvert protection plan that just kind of lists practices that they'll implement during construction to just sort of protect those culverts. And I'll just kind of list those off right now. It's going to be locating the culverts with stakes, so they'll have the culverts delineated on site so that it's clear where they are located. They'll do daily surveys and inspections of those stakes to make sure they're still there. If they're not, they'll be replaced. No stockpiling of materials on top of or within 10 feet of those culverts. No parking construction equipment on top of or within 10 feet of the culverts. Any excavation within 10 feet of the culverts will be done with the aid of a groundman specifically tasked with directing the equipment to minimize ground disturbance near the culverts. And when equipment is required to operate on top of the culverts, they'll use specific kind of equipment called ground pressure equipment models, which reduce the load that's placed on those culverts. And then on following slides we are providing a full landscape design. As I mentioned, we are decreasing the impervious surfaces here pretty significantly, so we're adding a decent amount of landscaping. Those areas will be fully landscaped with, a handful of different species of perennials, shrubs, trees, typical landscape features. And that's really all I have. I know we have received comments from conservation staff as well as DPW. I think we've addressed most, if not all of them, but happy to answer any question that the commission may have.
Thank you. Staff comments?
Yeah, so as Nick mentioned, we did submit comment letters both from Planning Division and from DPW, got responses to those. I think our main concern with the initial filing was just getting more details about the protection of the culvert during construction, so it was good to get the protection plan that was provided. So I guess the one lingering concern that I have, and I mentioned this earlier, is just that the construction entrance is currently proposed on top of the culvert, and it seems to kind of conflict a little bit with some of the measures that they described in the protection plan. And the other concern with the location of the construction entrance is just that there's that catch basin right in front of it, and I know it's going to be protected with a silt sack, but I think there's definitely cause for concern with some of the sedimentation that might get tracked out into the street from vehicles leaving.
Sure.
So I don't know if there's a possible way to relocate that to the Grove Street side. I know the building kind of makes access difficult just given its location, but that's something we would probably want to see considered. And if it's not feasible to move that, I think we'd want a little more detail about how that location is not going to negatively impact the integrity of the culvert itself. But yeah, most of our comments, aside from the culvert protection, were minor plan changes that have since been addressed. Don't really have too much more on that at this point. So I'll turn it over to the commission for any further discussion.
Commissioners, comments or questions? So I have a similar concern about the construction entrance being over the culvert. My other concern is that when this property was in its demolition phase, that there was very little regard to the care and cleaning of those storm drains, and it was one of the reasons I even joined conservation.
Oh, okay.
Frankly, walked by the site and was alarmed knowing that the brook ran right underfoot and nothing was being done. It was the construction entrance for the demolition phase as well. So it's hard to imagine the equipment going in and out over that drain and on top of that culvert without it causing problems again.
Sure.
So if there's any way to move it, that would not just be a preference, I would say that'd be a requirement.
Yep.
Because if it's a construction company related to the ones that did the demolition, I think somebody ought to be there every day to make sure that this is actually happening.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't involved in the demolition process. I don't know. My guess is Ricciardi Brothers, they're the ones that prepared the culvert protection plan, that are the site contractors for this job. My guess is that it was a specific demolition contractor that did that work, but I'll relay that message to our client and make sure that's clear.
From my perspective, the site hasn't been particularly well protected or managed even since then. The fence falls down, the erosion barriers vanished.
Sure.
So yeah, I'm not feeling really comfortable that no matter what plan you put in front of us, somebody's going to execute on it.
Okay.
And since I live in the neighborhood, I will be watching.
Gotcha.
Beyond that, it would be nice to see something going into this site that does provide a little bit of pervious coverage. It is up until the demolition phase been 100% impervious. So, in general, have no issue with the project. Just want to make sure that during the construction phase that the culvert is attended to and all of the storm drains in the project site are as well.
Sure. Yeah, and just on the construction entrance, I'll certainly talk that with our client and probably want to get the site contractor's input on that just to see if there's another location that jumps out at them that makes sense. I'm sure we can figure something out.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the public on the project? Anyone online?
Make a motion to continue to the next meeting?
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? So hopefully you get a DUPN number, we'll see you at
Yes.
the end of the month.
That'll be
Awesome.
November.
All right, thank you.
November
Have a good night.
24th.
November 24th?
Yep.
Great, thank you.
Next item, number 8, new business notice of intent, 449 Southwest Cutoff.
Good evening. My name is Tim Hool, civil engineer, and engineer of record for BL Companies. For the record, our office address is 100 Constitution Plaza in Hartford. I'm here tonight on behalf of National Grid, Massachusetts Electric Company, as the applicant and current occupant of the site. As mentioned, the address is 449 Southwest Cutoff. This parcel is a little bit unique. It is actually split between the city of Worcester and the town of Millbury. The property line is just a little bit north of dead center on the property in the east-west format. Yeah, the bold line come kind of through the center of the plan sheet there. I will say with that, we are in for permits with both municipalities as you know, as we are here tonight. We did appear before Millbury a few weeks ago. We were continued because at the time we didn't have the DEP file number. We have since received it, and I think the meeting for Millbury is on Wednesday night this week. They had no comments of consequence for the wetlands for this project, but I just wanted to share that in full disclosure. So the total property is about 12.8 acres. As I mentioned, it's currently occupied by National Grid. It is an electric operations facility, so it's their electric division. They do use the existing building that's in the neighborhood of about 60,000 square feet, give or take, as an office facility, as well as there's a bit of warehouse and training space within. And then a lot of the remainder of the site, especially as we look towards the east, which is off screen, but they use it as a training grounds for the various crews. So it could be training for their lines crew, their pole crew, or various other teams. So this is a pretty high important site for them. The site is bordered by Gen Manufacturing to the south, Discover Services to the west, a wooded area as well as Hourglass to the east, and Route 20 or Southwest Cutoff to the north. The west side of the site is where the main jurisdictional areas come into play from a wetland standpoint. There is a sizable wetland that totals a little under an acre. It's on the immediately west of the property. It's kind of that area just to the very edge of our screen here. There's only a small portion of that. I think it's about 12,000 square feet that falls physically on this property. The remainder of that, roughly 40,000 square feet or so, falls on the abutting property to the west. However, it is certainly a wetland. And then there is also a little bit of wetland resource area immediately south of the driveway, which comes in off of Lottie Farm Road in Millbury. It's immediately south of that, down in the west corner. That wetland on property is noticeably smaller. It's about 2,500 square feet or so, again, within this property. And then from a larger picture standpoint, we do also have the stormwater management system on site. It is largely self-contained. Currently, the stormwater goes in one of two different directions. The westernmost portion of the site is captured in catch basins and flows directly out to that western abutting wetland, the larger one, with no major formal treatment. There are catch basins there, but there's no sediment forebays, there's no hydrodynamic separators or similar treatment. From the majority of the site, especially east of the building, the main training areas, parking lot, and so on, that's all captured similarly in catch basins with very limited treatment. Then it's piped underground into an existing stormwater management basin on the very eastern limits of the property. That basin does have a little bit of treatment. There is a sediment forebay in there, and it does have an under drain So there is a treatment happening within that basin. In proposed conditions, National Grid is seeking to expand the parking lot. The main goal is to add electric vehicles to their fleet. So there's 3 main areas that they're looking to improve. The far western, which is kind of the very like western central portion of the view here. We're adding about 15 or so parking spaces on that side. It's all within the Millbury side, but it does get close to the wetland over there in Millbury. Those will be electric vehicle charging stations for their fleet. Going up to the very corner, the northwest corner of the property here, there's some rounded parking spaces being added. There's roughly 10 or so spaces there being added. Those are within the jurisdictional area for the wetlands. Those are also electric vehicle charging equipped spaces. Those were strategically located so that they are outside of the 30-foot no improvement zone for the Worcester requirements. And then looking on the north central portion of the property, there is an existing knoll that is there today. That knoll is going to be leveled, graded down to the parking lot grade, and I believe there's about 25 or so parking spaces being added there. There's an existing stone retaining wall that kind of dies into that. The wall will all be rebuilt because it's in fairly poor condition. We'll level that knoll, add in the parking, and rework a little bit of the grading and drainage in that area. The stormwater as a whole will be refined a bit. Since we're adding impervious area, we did need to rework what catch basins drain to where to balance the pre versus post stormwater discharge rates. So the areas along the west, so that I'll refer to the 2 parking areas on the west now as one. They function to one drainage point. So we're adding a catch basin for the southern area of the 2. That'll be piped to the north. And then those 2 areas will be treated through a hydrodynamic separator, so adding treatment compared to what's there today, before tying into an existing pipe that outlets to the wetland through an existing flared end section, existing pipe outlet. So again, we're retaining the existing outlet, but we're adding treatment through a hydrodynamic separator and retaining the existing outlet location so that we can maintain flow to the wetland and certainly don't want to dry it up. The north central portion is where we're reworking a little bit of this drainage flow. Currently, a lot of that middle dark gray area drains to the west, which is the planned left side. As we're regrading that, adding the parking, we're adding in a catch basin in that area to capture most of it right in that location and pipe it. Instead of it sheet flowing to the west, we're capturing it there and piping it now to the east to go into the existing stormwater management basin on site, and we are doing a significant enhancement of that basin. It's going to more or less double in size. So the basin that's there today is, it's a similar tight area kind of in the bottom right corner of that basin. So you can kind of see it a bit here. There is a sediment forebay on the left side of that's where the initial treatment comes in. And then the right half of that is the main body of the basin. There is an existing outlet control structure leaving that, as well as an overflow berm. In proposed conditions, it is, like I mentioned, almost doubling in size. So again, a similar layout. The left side is the sediment forebay. We are cutting back and rebuilding the pipe end coming in from the main on-site drainage to the northwest. There's an overflow weir between the 2 smaller pools within the basin, and then the right-hand side is the enlarged main body of the basin for infiltration. And then we are proposing to retain the existing outlet control structure and overflow weir. In total, the stormwater management system will all see a net reduction in peak discharge rates to all of the design points we considered, as well as receiving an enhancement in the treatment capacity to the direct to the wetlands on the west-hand side of the site. This eastern side will largely function as is today. I guess with that, I would just like to close and just, I see this is the revised plan. I just wanted to note for the record, the original submission was a smaller basin on this side. We did have a little bit of a miscue in the calculations. Those have since been revised and resubmitted. I believe that was really the only comment of consequence from staff. We are working through a few comments with the planning staff and planning board for their process. Nothing really major of note, but the one I would like to share is they requested a couple of landscaped islands be added within the central parking area, because there's no islands in there today. It's all just hatched areas at the ends of stalls. So as we are working through those, it's likely that we will increase the amount of landscape cover compared to what was submitted today, but it should have no major impact on the stormwater management, the grading. We verified, we're working through it right now, but we verified that all the drainage pathways will remain the same.
Okay, thank you. Staff comments or questions?
I don't have a ton of comments on this one. Just a refresher on multi-jurisdictional projects. Since it's been a while, essentially the Worcester Conservation Commission has jurisdiction over the part within city limits. So any, conditions that the commission imposes would be strictly limited to that side. We do have the purview to review the entire stormwater report. But as far as like work and erosion control on the Millbury side, that's not something we would look at. And yeah, I think the only comment we had was about the stormwater calcs at the very beginning, and didn't have any comments since then. So that's it from staff.
So the calculations that are in the stormwater report that we received have changed? The one we have on file is from 10.5.
From 10.5.
Or is that the
10.5.
revised?
I believe that should be the revised
It
ones.
does say revised.
Yeah, the early October ones were the revised ones, yes.
Okay. Yep, I can see. Commissioners, questions, comments on the project?
Sure, through the chair, just a clarification, the page left is the Millbury side, is that?
The page south
Page
is
south,
the Millbury
okay.
side, yes.
So I do have some questions on, so you mentioned the existing outlet right by the wetlands, and the new parking that you're proposing on page left is now draining up. You're providing a treatment structure and then tying into that. Is the treatment structure also picking up the catch basins that are north of the building? Because
So
right now, those are just going straight to the wetland area untreated, right?
yes. So there's two catch basins up there today. There's one near the corner of the rounded parking. It's actually on the inside corner of that rounded area. We are proposing to replace that with a hydrodynamic separator inlet unit, so that will be an improvement for treatment.
Yep.
And then the new structure down on the south along the straight leg of parking that's down there, we're proposing as well a hydrodynamic separator inlet unit down at the southern end of that. So
Yep.
both flows of water going into that, the flared end or that existing outlet will receive
They'll all
treatment.
be treated, okay.
The other catch basin that's up there will flows to, I gotta stop and think about this for a second. I believe that actually does flow. It's on the northeast corner of the building. That, I believe, does flow to the west, but that will
Correct.
flow through the proposed upgraded hydrodynamic separator,
Right,
so it will
perfect.
receive treatment.
Yep, okay, thanks for that clarification.
Any other commissioners, questions? Anyone here from the public on the project? Online? Got it. Is there a motion?
Motion to close.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Order of conditions?
All right, so in addition to the standard conditions, we have 24 for wetland flagging, 25 for revised plans reflecting any changes required by the planning board, 37 for stormwater management system maintenance, 39 for certification of stormwater infrastructure, 48 for dust control, 49 for dewatering, 50 for cement truck washing, 51 for equipment placement, 56 for spill prevention, 66 for sand and salt, ongoing conditions 37 and 66.
Any questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
Motion to issue the orders of conditions as described.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Frattoni? Aye. That's it. Thank you. Okay, next item, number 9, notice of intent, 23 Berry Road. And I know that's not you.
Matt, you should be able to unmute yourself now.
Okay, there you go. Thank you. Matt Morrow, representing the owner of 23 Barry Road. Oh, thank you. I was just wondering if anyone was going to share the screen. Okay. So what we have is an after-the-fact notice of intent for the construction of a swimming pool within the buffer zone. The proposed pool is outlined on the plan. You can see it labeled pool. There was actually an existing pool on site that was buried. The foundation was unburied, and the pool is actually going to go on the exact same footprint as the prior pool, with a patio going around it. There is actually erosion protection that is up now, in the form of wattles and silt fence. I had S&M Farms go up and place it around the perimeter of the work that was done. Work has ceased at this point. The pool in question is an in-ground pool. It is going to use a cartridge filter, so there will be no backwashing that will be required that could get into the wetland resource area. There will be no work within 25 feet of the wetland. And you can see on the plans, the erosion protection that's outlined now was located on site. That is the erosion protection that is currently there on site now. That will remain. It's basically it. I know we're still waiting for a DEP number. The wetland in question is an intermittent stream that is also outlined on the plan. There is no BVW associated with the southerly side, as using the arrow orienting north on the southerly side of the stream facing the house. There is BVW on the opposite side of the stream. It wasn't delineated because it's not really germane to the work that's going on. So with that, I mean, I can answer any questions the commission has. Again, I know we're going to have to continue for lack of a DEP number at this point.
Thank you. Staff comments or questions on the project?
Yeah, so city staff had, this work came to staff's attention, I believe through a building permit process, was stopped by conservation staff because of the proximity to the wetland. I did a site visit with Matt and the property owner a while back, which is where these photos came from. Matt did confirm as soon as they installed the erosion controls, which I had asked them to do once while we were out there looking at this together. It didn't look like any of the eroded soil had really come close to the wetland area. So we asked for some plan changes, which have been provided in a revised plan. I guess, Matt, a question I would have for you is just regarding the patio. Is there any patio proposed? I guess, what is the extent of where the patio is proposed? The only reason I worry is just because of this 30-foot buffer that cuts kind of close to the pool within the grading, where pavement wouldn't typically be allowed, or any other form of hardscaping. So I don't know if you could elaborate on that piece.
Well, the pool installer, Mr. Snyder, is here. He could probably answer that better than I could. Ed?
I'm just gonna have to give him permission to unmute. Ed, you should be able to unmute yourself now. If you're dialed in by phone, it's *6 to unmute. Otherwise, you should be able to just click the microphone. Seems like we're not getting anything here. I can see Ed is still muted, should have permission to unmute. I think regardless, either way, I think the limit of the patio is something that we would want to see on the plan. Just wanted to see, you know, any construction associated with the pool, including hardscaping. Looks like somebody's raising their hand. Okay. Should be able to unmute.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Craner. I'm the owner of the 23 Berry Road. I could answer the patio question if you like.
Sure, thank you.
Of course. So the patio, actually the existing patio, it's mostly on the side of the house. Basically, we're just going to add just a coping of the pool and maybe about 3 feet from the coping on the other side, on the side of the little stream. So we're not doing anything extensive to get anywhere close to it. So most of I'd say about 75% of the patio will be on the house side, which is actually existing because there was, as Matt mentioned, there was an existing pool there before. So we're basically just fixing that side and just leaving it as is, and then coping of the pool around and maybe about 30 feet just around the pool.
So basically, from the description I'm getting, is if you look at where the pool is, you can see in front of the existing riprap that's in that area, you see what looks like a curved structure, which is actually like a stone wall structure that's existing on site. It probably would go into an L shape by the existing house and probably no farther down to that, which would leave it out of the 30-foot zone. The pool, they usually do a small concrete apron going around the pool, so obviously you can walk around. So I don't really see, other than some grading work that already started taking place that would be graded and loamed, anything much going on the eastern side, the western side of that blue line that you've drawn in heading towards the wetland, other than probably just loaming and seeding.
Exactly.
So that 3 feet brings it very close to the 30-foot line. Do you agree?
Yeah, it should bring it close to the 30-foot line. I would agree.
And the intention then is to seed the disturbed area with grass,
Well, it was previously lawn. It will go back to lawn, yes.
and it goes back to lawn with that slope that's currently shown on the photograph?
The slope is just grading that was done because they were unearthing the pool. I mean, there may be, if you could go back to the plan. You can see the pre-existing grading goes down about 2 feet. So the grading would probably be reestablished and blended in so that it would go right back down.
Okay, and that's my question. Is it going to be a little bit more of a natural slope than this sudden break?
That's what my clients usually try for.
Well, that wasn't the answer to my question.
Okay, so
Usually
the-
trying
yeah,
for is the intention to grade this out so that it's,
Yeah,
you know,
if I may answer, yes, absolutely. It will be graded in a way that it will be smoother, if you will, if I am understanding the question correctly.
okay, so then my question is the intention then to grade into the buffer zone and change, I guess, change the elevation and grade going into the area closer to the brook?
No, we're not. No, not at all. We're not going anywhere closer to where we are. If anything, we'll be a little bit further out with a grade.
Hey, Eric, Mr. Snyder said he could probably unmute if you gave him permission, but what he's telling me in messages is that he's going to remove that material and ease the slope in, so he's going to restore the grading. The patio is going to remain inside the existing pool footprint on the plan. Pardon me, that was a mouthful. I had to say that real slow. So that I hope answers your question, because we're not going to leave a steep slope like that. He's going to remove the material and ease the slope back into the existing grade. So
And so because I haven't seen this site prior to this work taking place, is the existing grade closer to where the lawn area is currently? Because the site plan doesn't show the current conditions, it shows, I'm not sure what it shows.
No, it shows the current conditions. That was taken after the work. What you see here, everything was shot based on what you see here, with the exception that the erosion protection that Eric requested was added in a couple of days later. And then the survey crew came in, shot everything that you see here, including where the erosion protection was put.
Okay, so it's a 2-foot change then from the corner of the pool to the edge of this slope.
That's correct.
Okay, and then 2 more feet to the lawn.
Yeah, that's not going to remain the way you see it now. It's going to be regraded so that everything eases in. It's not going to be an abrupt, like, mound going around like you see now.
Got it, thanks. So there's a lot of work that was done around the brook that looks pretty unnatural. Was that pre-existing? How long has it been there?
I've gone back on ortho photos, and it looks like it's been there for quite a while. And my client, I forget exactly when he bought the property. I'm looking through aerials right now, if you want to just give me a moment.
So we got the aerials are up on the screen as well. So the stone area right around the brook itself looks like it was in around 2021 or 2022.
Yeah, I can see in the 2021 orthos. I'm going to go back to...
You can see 2019 right here, it's not there, and then 2023 it is there. I think it was around 2021 that it was. And then going back a little further, there's obviously a lot more canopy cover as well.
So I guess my question is the statement that there's no BVW on the, let's say, near side of the brook. I'm not sure how there could be because it's in crushed stone.
Well, see, now I'm zeroing in on the 2019 photos. Let me make sure I got this correct here. So I'm zeroing in on the 2019 photos, and I actually do see a stone structure in the 2019 photos.
Right,
Actually,
but
both
then there's
sides.
an apron of small stone added after.
Matt, I'm not sure, can you see the presentation screen, Matt?
Hold on one sec. Okay, yeah, I see it.
So I guess that's just the concern, and I know I mentioned this when we were out there, is just that it seems like there was this kind of modification to the bank. You can see from the 2019 photo that there was always that kind of like stone edge of the bank, but then it's all this like landscaping stone that was since put in right along the edge.
Okay.
And then just a longer term kind of trend of reduction in tree canopy cover in the buffer zone and immediate area to the brook. But I guess the reason that the stone is particularly concerning from the commission's perspective is just that there's the 15-foot no disturb buffer zone in the local regulations, and there's clearly been some modification over the recent years. You can see the stone getting into the brook, which is something else I mentioned when we were out there. It's not necessarily the end of the world, but it's certainly a change from the natural condition.
Okay, I gotcha.
Commissioners, any other questions or concerns about?
Yeah, through you, Madam Chair, looking at the wood bridge that's also crossing the brook. Not sure when that was put in, and then, what it's really made of, and then the location of the shed. Just wanted to make sure that that is outside of regulated areas. It sort of says no wetland flags in that area. Just
So I can
wondering if that was looked at.
I can speak to this a little bit from my site visit. The shed you can see in the back corner here is within the lawn area. The wood bridge that's shown on the plan, you can kind of see in the background here. Looking at aerials, it looked like that was there for at least 10 years. This newer wood deck that was placed across was something that I mentioned during my site visit, and my understanding is that the property owner has already removed that, but I'd defer to Matt and the property owner if they have anything else they want to add to that piece.
Brainard, the property owner, I removed that same day you asked me to.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, the, one other question. The riprap that's, on the northeast of the pool, can you just talk a little bit about that?
On the northeast of the pool? Okay, you mean okay, I get it.
Yep.
So my understanding in speaking to my client on that was that there was a, he just essentially wanted an area that would, that was starting to erode away, so he put the trap rock there to control erosion.
Okay. And you did mention that there's no draining of the pool, right? So that riprap is not associated with draining of the pool or anything like that?
No, it's pre-existing. It's on site now.
Yeah.
Okay, and you're still awaiting a DEP number as well?
Yes, correct.
Any other,
No public?
anyone here from the public? Anyone online?
I'll make a motion to continue to the next meeting. Is that,
Yep, next meeting's on November 24th.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. So we will see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you. That is it for new business. On to certificates of compliance.
Yep, so first up, or the only one we have tonight actually, is for the M165 transmission line. This is an order of conditions that was issued back in 2024 for utility maintenance of the structures along this line. This is the one that cuts through Granite Street, goes through the Broadmeadow Brook Wildlife Sanctuary area and gets down into Millbury. We did receive written certification that everything was done according to the approved plans and in accordance with the order of conditions. I didn't have a chance to personally do a site walk to inspect the site, but we did receive photos as part of the COC request. And I know we have the applicant's representative on the line if the commission has any questions.
Based on the photos, are you satisfied with what they're stating that they've done?
Yes.
Questions?
Any questions on this one?
Make a motion to issue the, certificate of compliance?
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye. Next up, discussion of active projects for Brant Lane.
Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. My name is Mitch Maslanka with Goddard Consulting, wetland scientist. I'm here representing the applicant, Brant Lane Development LLC, to present a concept plan to the commission this evening. So, some background, we obtained an order of conditions from the commission back in June, approving the Brant Lane Development Project, and we received a DEP appeal within the appeal period for them to review the project. So when they reviewed the project, they visited the site with the conservation staff as well as the applicant and wetland scientists, and then Patrick Healy, the engineer from Thompson List and Associates. And we walked the site, and they, a few weeks later, issued some follow-up comments based on our site walk. and one of their requests was for an alternative site plan. They did have another list of other requests for additional information. So we were working with the applicant on proposing an alternative plan that DEP would find favorable, and we're hoping that the commission would also find this alternative plan favorable. And when we presented it to DEP, just for a brief meeting with them to show them the concept plan, they were okay with the plan, and they expressed that if the commission was okay with the plan, that they would request that we file a request to amend the order of conditions with this concept plan and revert jurisdiction back to the commission by withdrawing the appeal. So we are hoping to proceed with that, but we thought it would be best and respectful to show you guys that the concept plan, make sure you guys would be good with that before we proceed with filing the request to amend the order of conditions. So what we've proposed is an alteration to what we were doing with Building 4, which when you enter the site down Brant Lane, if you take a left and cross over that paved stream channel, that's where Building 4 was going to be located. And originally we were going to have Building 4 positioned closer to on top of that ditch there, that linear stream channel. So this was the original approved plan, and we were going to fill in the ditch and reroute the stream around the building, creating an extensive amount of stream channel and bank resource areas. So we really enjoyed working on that, design, but it is a complicated design. And by eliminating the need to reroute the stream, we're going to instead mitigate the existing ditch by removing the human fill in the area and the contaminants, remove those, remediate, add suitable soils in there and suitable soil substrate so that we restore the stream channel. This would require us to do a stream crossing. There's already an existing culvert, undersized culvert that doesn't meet stream crossing standards in one area. And what we're going to propose there is to take that culvert out and put in a three-sided box culvert that'll meet stream crossing standards. And so we're going to keep the same stream path going underneath that now three-sided box culvert through the restored linear stream, and then into the 140-foot long pipe. So we are trying to pull in the limit of work as much as possible as well. So Patrick Healy from Thompson Liston showed the previous approved limit of work and where the new limit of work would be for the new grading. That green hatched area is the area we'd be working in that is needed for grading that we'd restore back to a natural environment, natural buffer zone. And then additionally, the buffer zone adjacent to the stream, that linear stream, would be restored as natural buffer zone as well. Then plan south, south of this sheet, the paved stream channel, yep, thanks Eric, that is still being proposed to be restored. It's paved right now. We want to restore it to a natural stream channel. Since we're going to have reduced flows coming into this area, since we're not rerouting the stream, we've removed the wetland creation areas. So it's just going to be the stream channel, and we're going to grade it out so it's a buffer zone. If it ends up being able to function as wetland, then great, but we don't want to propose it to be a wetland creation area, knowing that we're going to have less flow coming into the area. So we're also trying to propose as much mature tree canopy to remain, trying to just pull away as much pavement as possible and fill so that we can retain some of the mature tree species in this area. So you'll see sort of in the center of this graphic here, a riprap pad. That's where that linear stream, after it flows through that long culvert, is going to discharge onto that riprap pad and then re-enter into the natural stream that we're going to recreate there. And then the crossing under Brant Lane is still proposed to be a stream crossing compliant stream crossing. So additional slides we also included showed, so over on this side, on the Pine Hill Road side of the project, we are going to try and propose as many mature trees as possible in that wetland on the right side of the screen there. When we were out on the site walk with DEP, they were curious if we could tighten up any limits of work there to retain any mature trees, as that seemed to be one of the only areas on the site with relatively natural topography and mature tree canopy. So that's our proposed alternative concept plan. So let me know if you guys have any questions.
Staff first?
Yeah, so I guess it was probably a week or two ago, I had a chance to meet with Mitch and Patrick Healy and DEP to discuss this. So as we mentioned a while back, DEP issued a intervention, basically stating that their opinion was that the order of conditions didn't necessarily comply with 310 CMR 10. They seem pretty adamant about the stream relocation being a significant issue, and so that's kind of why we're here with the adjusted plan. Kind of seeing it for the first time when we met with DEP and the applicants team. My initial reaction was that it's definitely a shame to lose the significant area of BBW that would have been created by the first plan. And so, suggested that the applicant take any measures they could to, restore the buffer zone or restore the stream channel in this area if this is going to be kept. So it's nice to see all the additional buffer zone restoration areas shown on this plan. So just procedurally, like Mitch said, basically if, the applicant submits a request for an amended order of conditions with a plan that satisfies them, they would then revert jurisdiction, and then the process would go back through Concom. Obviously, there's also other approvals associated with this through the city that might or probably will need to be modified through Planning Board or ZBA. So I also suggested a kind of interdepartmental staff review of this as well, so that's something else we can do. But as Mitch said, we just wanted to get this in front of the commission for their initial thoughts. Obviously, if the commission were to say no, we're not going to entertain this amendment, then that would be a moot point. But looking at this site and having been out there a number of times now, I think ultimately, anything that's done to restore the wetland resource areas out there will be an improvement over what's currently there. And I think, at least getting some of the asphalt chunks and other nasty stuff that's in the bank and, stream bed itself and immediate buffer zone would be great. One other thing that I've thought of since the last time we met was also just looking at the pipe that this stream goes into and seeing if that is sized appropriately and is in good condition. I would think the sizing would be of concern to the applicant too, because if it's undersized, you might end up with flooding issues for their development. But yeah, that's it for me. Happy to answer questions if the commission has any.
Questions? So that was one of my questions, is the existing pipe is not being dimensionally changed at all.
It will need to be investigated.
Okay. All right, but in terms of, there's no shortening of this pipe. What we observed in the field when we were out is sort of the limit of the work, right? The natural, as unnatural as it was, a bank, and then the stream disappearing into the pipe. So it is still going into the pipe at the same location.
Yep, the down gradient end of the pipe will be cut back slightly
Okay.
for, because we have some room to spare. So
Right.
we will be cutting it back slightly.
So, and this is just more sort of a question in general, would there be a requirement to replace that pipe, or is it just an ask?
So I guess, from a regulatory perspective, this is a project that involves structure in the 30-foot buffer and activity within the 15-foot buffer, so the approval of the project is a discretionary one from the commission. I guess, as you know, when the way it was initially presented, there was all this resource area creation and other general buffer zone improvements that the commission essentially felt offset the impacts to the 15 and 30-foot buffer. So as far as requirements versus asks, I guess the approval in and of itself is discretionary, so the commission could push for whatever it
Got it.
wanted to see here.
I understand. But I think practically speaking, the other issue is, do you end up creating a backup of water if that pipe is not sized correctly for the flow? Do you anticipate much change in, I guess, the water flow on the property as a result of what you're doing, or is most of the water coming onto the site coming from off-site? You're adding downstream. You're definitely putting in all of that into the stream below this location, but within this part of the parcel, is the construction of the building going to really change, I guess, the inputs?
We're not anticipating it to, due to the project meeting DEP stormwater standards. So, we'll still be subject to that. So the redesign of that building 4 area is going to require us to meet the stream crossing standards, which shouldn't increase the amount of water going there.
Coming through. And the building appears to be smaller than what was originally proposed.
Yes. Yeah, there's a significant reduction in the building size in units.
And was that pretty much offset by the relocation of the parking, or did we reduce impervious surface somehow?
I imagine we did have a reduction in parking due to the reduction in units, but I would have to confirm that.
And so your next step is to go back before planning again, or zoning, or both, or?
We would file a request to amend the order of conditions with the commission formally, and at that same time, we would be filing with the planning board for their review.
Okay. So just to be clear, the pipe is coming in the same path that the existing pipe is. Whether you
Yep.
replace it or not might be a function of what's practical to
And
do.
unless we investigate the pipe and it's determined to be unsuitable to manage the infrastructure changes, we'd have to put a new pipe in probably, but we won't know until we further investigate the pipe.
Okay. But you are shortening it at the end. It'll spill into the riprap apron
Mm-hmm.
and rejoin where it pretty much joined previously.
Yes.
And then everything downstream of that, there's no change proposed?
Correct, yep. It's still, we're maintaining the same stream crossing under Brant Lane as was approved.
Okay. And basically no water volume change calculated yet anyway?
Yep, and, we would, I definitely want the engineer, Patrick, to confirm that for you, but, that's our intent.
Do you guys have any strong feelings about this working or not working, or?
Well, it's good to see that, steps are being taken to make some improvements, for sure. So, that's appreciated.
Yep, I don't have I don't want to say I'm not smart enough to have a strong objection to the change, because I assume that DEP, had reasons for making the request, and, I guess just from a common sense point of view, probably trying to redirect a water flow, if you don't absolutely have to, makes sense. I did look at old maps, I usually do on these sites, and the water has been flowing like this for a very long time. I mean, it's not like even though it is flowing over asphalt on one side and into the pipe on the other side, it has essentially been the same shape of water flowing on the site for as long as you can find it on a map. So I guess leaving it in place might cause less disruption ultimately. And this is just a question more for the project in general. I assume this, impacts the math on the profitability of this. It's a smaller apartment building. I don't know if it's more or less work on site, maybe less work in terms of redirecting the stream for sure. But I guess my hope is that it doesn't, cause the developer to kind of lose steam on this. It's a lot of money into it so far. A long way yet to go. So we're not really taking a vote. This is just a discussion. Yeah. So I would not have a problem moving forward with these changes. I would like to see the pipe probably investigated and probably replaced. I mean, it's got to be 60 years old or better at this point, as far as I can tell on the maps. That's all I got. Any questions for us beyond this?
No, we'll certainly take all your comments into consideration when we file the formal request to amend, and appreciate you guys going over just the concept plan this evening, and we look forward to keeping working with you.
Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, enforcement orders.
All right, so starting off with 13C99 Wildwood. This one was one we had looked at back in March. The enforcement order was initially issued in 2020. We had the property owner in to discuss this with the commission either in March or April. Basically, there was this like driveway expansion. You can see on the left photos on the screen. Just an expansion of that driveway area. At the time, this was prior to my joining the city, but the conservation agent at the time noted impacts to BVW as well as the 15-foot buffer. The property owner came in, said, basically just looked to see what the commission wanted to do in order to get this closed out. The requirement at the time when we discussed this was to have a wetland scientist develop a list of recommendations to remediate the area and summarize the impacts. That was due July 1st. Obviously, we're a few months beyond that at this point. We've reached out to the property owner again several times to follow up on this and have not heard a response. So at this point, I guess staff's recommendation here is to consider what next steps we want to take, whether that's fining the property owner, sending an angry letter. Turn it over to you guys at this point, but it feels like it seemed like there was some progress towards getting this resolved back in the spring, and that has stagnated.
And what our options for finding are what dollar range?
It's, so $100 is the non-criminal disposition process, $100 per violation. Each day a violation remains in place constitutes a separate violation. Fill is in its nature an ongoing violation. Every day it remains in place. Certainly not suggesting that go crazy here and issue a huge fine, but I think something, even just $100 fine could potentially be a.
I guess, what if we alerted the property owner that it is $100 per day if we were to be very cranky about this, but maybe in the form of a letter saying, starting on such and such date, you're subject to this fine on a daily basis. If we don't hear from you by this date and/or have your wetland scientist come in as agreed, then this clock starts ticking.
Yeah, that's an option we could do. We have mentioned that the commission is likely to start issuing fines in our correspondence, but I think more
So we have
firm-
already done that?
We have mentioned, I have in my emails to the
Okay.
property owner mentioned that the commission's likely to
Okay,
consider
yeah, I don't want
fines
to keep
if-
threatening and then not actually do something, so that if we've already warned them of that situation, then it's probably time to start.
So I'm just curious, the communications, this is all via email? Has there been letters? Are we sure this owner is around?
So I believe the way we got in touch with them back in the spring was via letter, and then I believe Maddie had been in touch via email since then.
When you say in touch, they are responding.
My
There's
understanding is that she
communication
was
back and
going.
forth.
My
So they're-
understanding is that that's the case, yes,
Yeah,
via
okay.
email. But I was not on the thread between the two of them, so I can't say with certainty that they were communicating together by email.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to try one last, blast via letter, certified mail, and email, certainly open to doing that as well. But
Do we have a recent satellite photo of the site?
I'm sorry, a recent what?
Satellite photo of the site?
Yes, we can. pull
Without
one.
tree cover?
The most recent, we could pull one up from April, would be the most recent one without tree cover. Let's see if I can get that. The photos on the right of the screen are from late March, I believe. Just bear with me a second here. So this is April of this year up on the screen now. This is the area in question here that's kind of
Filled in.
filled in and parked in. You could go back to 2018 in April, and you can see that it's just trees at that point in time. Hard to say if that's shadow or wet ground, but looks fairly wet. So this is March 2020, that's probably just before the violation, and then the following year, you can see this area right here.
Oh, yeah, yep.
Wow. It's quite significant.
I think, also regardless of the communication, I think it was made pretty clear back in the spring that this was something that was due by
Yep.
July 1st.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is that something we need to vote on to start?
Yeah, so if the commission wanted to issue a fine, it should take a vote to issue a fine for, for example, you could say, make a motion to issue a $100 fine pursuant to the non-criminal disposition procedures for violations of performance standard 4.2.4. That would be the alteration within the 15-foot buffer.
Is there a motion?
So moved?
Second?
Commissioner Kenton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fatoni? Aye.
All right, so I will issue that to the property owner with a follow-up and by email and letter. Hopefully we can reestablish contact and get this moving
Okay.
in the right direction. Next up, 13Q, 13 Holden Street. I don't know if the chair would like to
Sure.
talk about this
Yeah,
one.
'cause these are my photos. So this is a site on Holden Street that we approved earlier in the year. It abuts Delaney Brook at the back. It is sandwiched very tightly in between two pre-existing homes on Holden Street. The site has been poorly managed right from the beginning. The erosion controls, as you can see in this particular photo, are actually non-existent now. They previously had attempts to add a silt fence and straw wattle that was not ever properly installed. They have debris piled across the portion of the property that you can even put any material down because the house literally is occupying almost the entire site. They had an approved construction entrance, which is no longer what they're using. They've created a new construction entrance. On the photo there, you can see sort of the driveway that they've formed. They have collapsed the sidewalk. They have never cleaned out the storm drain from the initial violation when they were discharging dewatered water from the foundation hole into the street, which brought silt down into Delaney Brook and into Indian Lake. So as you can see, they've piled even more gravel next to the storm drain. And then, I don't know if you have one of the shots that, yeah, you can see it on this one because the meeting stuff's not blocking. They piled more gravel onto the street and there's, silt running down the street. It is I guess hot mess would be the term. So, and they're not hiding from it because their sign is right there on the corner announcing their fine work. So we have an open enforcement order.
Yep, so if there are, actions the commission wants to see, we could amend that enforcement order. We could issue a new stop work until they do a certain list of items. I think at a bare minimum, just looking at the photos I drove by this morning as well, clearing the debris out of the street, reestablishing perimeter erosion controls, and having that catch basin not just, silt sack removed, but I think vacuumed out at this point.
Yep.
Is necessary. And I think until that is done at a minimum, I would recommend that work be stopped on the site.
Okay.
You can't have just basic perimeter erosion controls is like the bare minimum standard for operating a construction site, so.
And I didn't even get onto the property to see the back, which is where the brook actually is, to know whether or not there was even a problem back there. Up until I was not able to get to the back of the property, they had not disturbed anything back there, so that really was not a problem on this project. It's all been everything running into the street and the storm drain. All right, so what's the wording on this amended enforcement?
So we would, I guess, be looking for a motion to amend the enforcement order to add required actions, reestablishing all perimeter erosion controls, cleaning out debris from the street, cleaning or removing the silt sack, having a vacuum truck vacuum out any accumulated debris in the catch basin, reinstalling the silt sack, and that all other work on site cease until those actions are completed. I think we'd be looking to see like a receipt from the company that vacuums out the catch basin as proof that they've done that.
Okay.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Canton?
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner? Commissioner Kirschner?
Not hearing you, Stuart. If you're,
He disappeared?
he's still.
Yeah.
On. Oh, there we go. We got you back.
Commissioner Kirschner?
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom?
Aye.
Commissioner Fertoni? Aye. Any other enforcement?
Nothing from staff.
Open space.
We received notice that we were awarded a land grant for the Brooks Dairy Farm project that we've brought in front of the commission a couple times. That's being partially funded with CPA dollars and now partially funded with land grant dollars as well. So that's exciting news. The Healy administration just put out a press release on that this past week. So next steps on that will be we'll need to submit a conservation restriction to EEA for their review that will ultimately be granted to Greater Worcester Land Trust. We'll need to go through the contracting process with the state and the city through the CPA fund, and hopefully we'll close on the property in February or March, definitely before June is kind of the drop dead date for getting that done. And so, yeah, we're looking forward to it. We had a site visit with EEA early on in the process when they were evaluating applications. It's a nice wooded parcel just off of Nelson Place Elementary School, and then protecting this is going to catalyze another 20 acres on the adjacent private property. So, exciting project.
So the city will hold title to land, and the conservation restriction will belong to Greater Worcester Land Trust.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. That is good news. Communications.
Yeah, we had a couple of notifications of utility projects and then a drawdown notification from the Lake Quincy Commission.
Okay. Discussion around updates to the ordinance.
No updates since the last meeting. Just for Commissioner Canton, since you were not here at the last meeting, we had talked, in previous meetings about getting the ball rolling on actually revising the ordinance to adopt some of the exemptions and other procedural things that we've discussed in the past. So I ran that up the flagpole in my division, and essentially what we're proposing is for staff to come up with a kind of red line set of edits to the ordinance, present that to the commission probably early next calendar year, and then try to push that through the administration to city council, since ordinance updates go through council. But we've started that process, and the things that were talked about are, like the minor buffer zone exemptions, like decks 70 feet away from a wetland that would be exempt under the Wetlands Protection Act, but not under the ordinance, and other things like allowing for 3-year extensions instead of 1 year to also align with the Wetlands Protection Act. So those are things that we are working on. Obviously, we're a little short-staffed at the moment with Maddie being on leave, but I think once we get through our upcoming FEMA audit in the next week, we'll be able to start pushing that forward again.
Minutes.
We have
Yeah.
one set that were just uploaded this afternoon for the meeting on the 20th.
Anybody want to take a quick look, or?
If people need additional time, we can easily push that out to the next meeting, so no worries if
Okay.
we're not ready for a vote.
Do you want to wait to have a chance to review them, or
I looked at it, so.
they looked okay?
I'm fine.
You okay with the minutes? Is there a motion?
Motion to approve the minutes of 10:20?
Second.
Commissioner Canton,
Aye.
Commissioner Kirschner,
Aye.
Commissioner Nystrom,
Aye.
Commissioner Tony, aye. Policies and procedures.
Nothing from staff.
Okay. I have just one thing that came up in the MCAD meeting, the MCA, MACC meeting that I was at Saturday. There is a bill in the House of Representatives in Massachusetts to hold contractors accountable for not pulling permits. So if you are, in agreement, I already wrote to my state rep in support of the bill. But it's House Bill number 3415. To hold contractors responsible, and it's not just Conservation Commission permits. It would be anything that required a permit. As you know, currently homeowners are kind of stuck with whether they were knowingly or complicit with the not pulling a permit, or whether they didn't really know they needed one. They're usually stuck with the bill of making it all right after the fact. So I just wanted to let you know that it's out there, and House Bill number 3415 could use a push. That's all I have.
All right.
Yep. because I would have written this myself. Somebody else did it. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.